So Still Reading Oils by Melanie Cambridge. Remember, everything shown was done within 30 minutes or less. That's the challenge. So the topic right now is how to choose a subject. Choosing a subject for oil painting. All right. Deciding what to paint can be tricky, especially when you have limited time available, as there's so much to choose from. The secret is to keep things simple when choosing your subject, and to look for the uncomplicated view or close-up corner, rather than trying to paint everything you see. In this chapter, I have selected various subjects and tried to give you ideas as to how you might approach them when painting quickly, while still capturing the essence of the subject in just a few brushstrokes. This takes practice, but the results are worth it. This first one is landscapes. There's a lot of reading back here. So let's see. Yes. I might read this one. Landscapes. When painting wide open landscapes, you will need to simplify much of what you see. For example, distant hedgerows can be stated with a single line of paint, and fields can be suggested with simple brushstrokes and blobs of color. Detail and color fade considerably towards the horizon, so make your colors not only paler, but also bluer as you paint features in the distance. It helps if you can imagine the view on a misty day, when much of the distant color and detail is blocked out. This is the effect that you are trying to portray. Remember that warm colors, such as reds and oranges, tend to come forward when seen alongside cooler blues and greens, so use these colors sparingly and only in the foreground. Think also about scale. Trees appear large in the foreground with all their branches clearly defined, whereas in the middle distance, they'll be much smaller with perhaps only the main trunk visible below the foliage. Look carefully at the landscape in front of you before you start, and paint only what you can see, not the details you know are there. So with this one, it says this complex view was painted very simply on a yellow tinted board. Only the foreground olive trees have trunks and shadows to create a sense of scale and distance. It's a mountain pass in Andalusia. Everything she's showing she did within 30 minutes or less. And so one of her main things was like with trees, you're not about to sit here and try to paint all the branches and this and that third. She was like a blob of color, a brush stroke that can get you. You might see the tree trunk, but the rest is just a blob of color, this and that third. Warmer colors up front, paler, bluer colors, cooler colors towards the back. And she was like try to give a misty effect. The next one, the poppies here are simple blobs of bright red in the sunshine, but darker red in the shadows. And I painted the centers and only a few flowers in the foreground. I kept the strongest greens for the nearest trees. So she was showing that the poppies here, she only gave a couple of the poppies, like the little center, the other poppies, no, and they're darker. The stronger greens are up front. Cooler colors in the background, warmer colors up front, sparingly. Thanks for the gift. Take action details and blessing. Do not add anything that's already there. All right, next page. Canals and rivers. Canals and rivers provide plenty of fascinating subjects to paint. Canals and rivers provide plenty of fascinating subjects to paint. Boats may be moored along Boats may be moored up along the bank, giving you time to observe them closely and paint them. Lot cottages with their pretty gardens add much color to the waterways and are lovely to paint. There are usually people walking along the towpath or riverbank to sketch, and lots of ducks and birds to include as well. Finally, there are many opportunities to paint both wonderful reflections and fast-moving water over weirs and near lots. So, I'm gonna read that one more time. So, canals and rivers provide plenty of fascinating subjects to paint. Boats may be moored up along the bank, giving you time to observe them closely and paint them. Lot cottages with their pretty gardens add much color to the waterways and are lovely to paint. There are usually people walking along the towpath or riverbank to sketch, and lots of ducks and birds to include as well. Finally, there are many opportunities to paint both wonderful reflections and fast-moving water over weirs and near locks. So for this first one is a spring woodland. Use plenty of softer grays and purples when mixing the color of the trees in the background, reserving the brighter spring greens for the foreground foliage. The brighter spring greens in the foreground, softer grays and purples when mixing the colors for the trees in the background. So I think she's referring to the softer grays and purples for the trees in the background and the stronger, brighter greens up front for the trees in the foreground. And then for this one, I harmonize the various greens in this painting by using beryllium throughout, changing only the yellow in the mix. Lemon yellow was used for the background trees, and Indian yellow for the middle section and foreground. In reference to this one right here. Next one, painting indoors. When time is limited, there is no need to go outside to find a subject to paint. Your home is a collection of ready-made views and scenes, a corner of the sitting room, a view through a doorway into the garden and beyond, or even a lamp on the hallway table. This project will encourage you to see what is on your doorstep. Finding a subject. Take time to look around. You will be surprised to find plenty of simple scenes to paint without ever having to step outside your front door. Use a viewfinder to seek out odd subjects, a collection of plates on the kitchen dresser perhaps, a glimpse into a bedroom through a half-open door. Look for corners where the light falls on some areas but leaves others in shade, as this would help create a more interesting painting. So she has one, the kitchen dresser. She said this was painted on a board tinted with raw sienna, and this background color shows through, adding depth to this quick study. She's talking about this one, painting the house, the dishes, kitchen dresser. Making a start. Once you have chosen a subject, sketch in the main shapes. Take care to look at the relative scale of different items. Those which are twice the distance from your eye will appear half the size, making a chair in the foreground, for example, seem much larger than you first thought. When you are happy that the main features relate to each other, Pick up your brushes and get painting. Make several 30-minute paintings around your home. Try to find a subject in each room. Add variety and interest to each painting by varying the format. Try a square shape in the dining room, a tall, thin shape for the bedroom doorway, or a long, horizontal shape in the kitchen. Have fun wandering around with a viewfinder, discovering new challenges in every corner. So she has one called Through the Bedroom Door. Doorways make interesting subjects and are especially well suited to a tall format. She has this one peeking through the door. So like the door is here, it's kind of open and you can see into the bedroom. So she was like that provides an interesting aspect to the painting. In her sitting room, she said, "Here I sat on one side of the room and painted the items in the opposite corner. See how large the foreground chair appears compared to the table and the lamp." She's talking about this one. Townscapes. Harper's. Oh gosh. All right. How much more? Okay. I think we might stop on page 76. Okay. What I like about this is it wasn't like, no, I didn't pick up on it with the landscapes, but it's the painting indoors. Like, so when she's talking about painting indoors, you can tell that like it's so cool that she just enjoys painting. She just enjoys painting. It doesn't matter what it is. And I think that's what like the coolest part about this is showing like this can be a subject, this can be a study, this can like, and so she was like, it's the fact that she's just sitting across her room and she's like, I'm gonna paint this. Or she's looking through the bedroom door and it's like, I'm gonna paint this. The dishes, the kitchen dresser, like it's like she like this is 3 parts, but she just literally just painting her house. Like she just wants to paint type of thing. Bro, so I just think that's really cool. It's kind of like this kind of like emphasizes it, but I just saying like, yeah, instead of going outside, just paint around the house, and it's just like that's the mentality. It's just the mentality, just like, yeah, I'm just gonna paint around the house. The landscapes and things like those like require what you call too, but like those are big as well, and you can tell like just how much time she just spent painting, and just like you want a painting to be easier. It definitely seems like oils are the way to go for it. And like how she broke down a lot of different stuff, and she heavily emphasizes not details, like just the essence. But then at the same time, because certain things are so easy, she can just say that I can do this for a person. A person's a couple brush strokes. The tree's a couple brush strokes. Like it's blobs of color for this, with blobs of color for that. And so that's just another thing that I'm just like, just absorbing as I'm picking up on this. Now, mind you, it is supposed to be for 30 minutes. It's just a 30-minute joint. So I really, like, so that's one thing. Like, these are all done within 30 minutes. And so I mean, it's just nice to, like, even though I don't know her, it's like you just pick up and you can just tell that, how much she cares about it, or how like the comfort she has within certain things, and just saying like this is like, because you gotta be careful about calling stuff easy and simple, but she was like, it's just this, it's like a couple brush strokes, but she tried to emphasize that, like just like saying capture the essence, not the details, and she's very focused on that. Very focused on capture the essence and not the details. So, trying to see. I'm trying to see if I want to read one more page. If I read, I'm trying to see if I want to read one more page of this. This was town. We got townscapes. We got harbors. Townscapes, harbors, and the whole. Yeah, it's just townscapes and harbors. And then this part's done. And then it says painting on holiday. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna just stop right here.